We are rolling. Welcome to this episode of the Blue Crocus Experience. I'm your host, Louis Vandervalk, and I'm joined today by Ryan Behan. I think I said it right there, of Ginger Cat Sealcoating. And we've been connected. We were just chatting. We've been connected since March or so. And I've seen what he's up to, and wanted to get him on and kind of chat about it from his perspective. So if you want to just introduce yourself quickly, Ryan, tell us where you're from, and then we'll just dive right into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for having me on, Louis. I really appreciate it. My name is Ryan Behan. I'm from Greenfield, Massachusetts. I'm currently running an asphalt maintenance company, Ginger Cat Sealcoating. We do, line striping, crack sealing, seal coating, asphalt patching, and snow removal in the winter. So, I'm pretty much just kind of grasping at all these, asphalt related services and trying to make this business work as close to year round as possible. And, I'm just really into, finding new ways of doing things and giving it my best and seeing how things play out for me.
I love it. I love it. And I mean, the elephant in the room is the drum set behind you. So let's get right into that. I know we were just chatting about it for the listeners and the watchers on YouTube. You play drums. So tell us a bit about how that started. And I know it's tapered off a bit with the business world, but.
Yeah, I am a longtime musician. I'm 36 years old, and I started playing drums right around 13 or 14. It was kind of just at the age where I was getting into high school, right around that time frame. And I had some friends that wanted to start a band, and none of the other friends' parents were into having their kids have a drum set. But so, by default, I became the drummer, and my parents got me a drum set after, a few months of nagging them, and it's been something that's been with me my whole life. I've taken great pride in learning to play an instrument, and I've been in many bands, and it's just something that is an internal passion. It's something that's never going to go away. We all kind of get hobbies here and there that we kind of float in and float out of, but this is one that has just stuck with me my entire life, and it's been something that it's also a stress relief, with business, it has kind of fallen by the wayside, the drumming, but it's always something that I know I have drums. I know I can go down to my basement. I can sit here, I can play, I can kind of, zen out for a little bit. And it's been a great thing for my life. It's really kind of given me a way to focus my intentions,
Are we going to see more videos over the winter?
I hope so. This past winter was cool because I kind of got my first mic set up where I was able to mic the drums up. Nice. and kind of give more of a tailored sound to it. Up until that point, it's just pretty much been band practices where I kind of get the outlet to go play drums. This year, as we all know, it was a little tougher with COVID-19. There weren't a lot of band practices happening. There weren't a lot of places to go, open mics and whatnot. So I kind of upped my home recording game and was able to do things a little, hodgepodge, but I can play and I can record the drums and I can play along to some music. And I really like kind of just putting it out there and having people respond to something that I've created. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. If you guys aren't following Ryan, definitely connect with him on Facebook. He puts out some cool videos. I know we're taking a moment here on the non-business stuff, but I think that's what makes it cool, is to kind of, it's not all about business. It's you're a well-rounded individual. But did you say that you guys just decided to have a band, but none of you really knew instruments? So you just assigned an instrument to each person?
Yeah, absolutely. Like me and my friends, I had a really small circle of friends. It was probably like 6 or 7 of us. And we were into heavy metal, like old Metallica and Slayer and stuff. And, that was, we're talking probably 1998 or something like that.
Yeah.
And we were listening to music that was a little bit older, maybe from the 80s and early 90s, but we all just kind of got together. We're like, we love this music. Let's start a band. And instantly it was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be a singer. I'm going to be a guitarist. And everyone's like, well, does anyone have a drum set? I know how to play drums. And, it was kind of like crickets chirping. No one knew. So I was like, I'll play drums. And I went home and I bugged my mom and dad about getting a drum set. And they didn't listen to me initially, but after, about, less than 2 months, they caved and they got me a drum set, and I've been playing ever since. It's just been really kind of fortunate. It was a good thing to happen to me, for sure.
That's awesome. That's so cool that you guys just like decided and then divvied up the responsibilities.
Oh yeah, it was definitely like just like spur of the moment, and all of a sudden it was like we had a band name before we even like had instruments. So
That's sick. What was the band name?
I think it was like Rust or something like that. It was like something really just I can't remember. That was one of the first bands I was in, but I think it was like Rust or something like that. But it was cool. This band artwork even before we even like had a practice, and how like
You got to start. You got to start
like,
with the essentials first, right?
oh, definitely. The image was more important than really the music.
Right, right. You'd figure out the execution later on.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool. Good stuff, man. Well, that's a kind of a cool way to start off, I think. So
Absolutely.
tell us a bit about Ginger Cat. I'm guessing you're the cat with the ginger.
I am the cat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then, it's just it's one of those things that I did. I started kind of before, along with the drumming and the bands. It's like I started the idea of wanting to do a side business for myself before I knew exactly what it was.
Yep.
I knew that I wanted to do something. I wanted to make some extra money. And the thing that has always been part of like my personality is I get very like focused and driven on certain things. And making some sort of business for myself was one of those things. I was probably right around the age of, just before the age of 30, I think. Because I've been doing this business for 6 years, 4 of them solidly as a business.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to do something. And I was at the time working for a paving company, and I knew a guy that was doing seal coating on the side. And at first I didn't even know what that was. He explained it to me. He explained to me what he did. And it was just kind of something that he was doing on the side as a side business. And I thought to myself, I could do that. This is perfect. This is what I've been looking for.
Yeah. What were you doing as a full-time gig at that point?
I guess
you said you were working the paving. I guess
I was working for a paving company. So I had been working for a paving company for about 6 years. And I didn't really tune into this seal coating thing until the last year I was there.
Yeah, I
so
guess
I decided,
more what I was asking is how do you find, because I know in the summer where I was going with that was you're so busy and the hours I know. Yeah. So where are you going to fit in extra work around the edges?
That's the thing. I didn't know, but I was like, I want to make this work. Obviously paving, that could be a long hour. You can work many, many hours for part of the year.
Yeah.
So I had that in my head. I wanted to do that. Right around the same time, me and my wife, we ended up deciding we wanted to have a kid. Yep. So we were planning a family. And when I was paving, I was traveling so far to work. I was traveling an hour sometimes from my house to the job site to work.
Yeah.
And so I decided that it was better off if I tried to find some work closer to home. So I ended up getting a job in my town for the DPW. So that totally spurned this whole asphalt maintenance business thing, because when I was working for the town, I realized you get so much paid time off, and it was in my town. So I'm not really traveling too far, and my hours were very normal, 7 to 3.
Right.
So I decided I was going to try doing it on the weekends or like after work. Started doing that. At the same time, I was accruing all this paid time off from my municipal job.
Yeah.
So I would take paid time off and go and do my business.
Oh, that's awesome.
And make money doing that. And I started getting just a lot of clients. I started, really grinding it out, researching everything, especially the seal coating and the crack sealing, researching it and really starting to try to do good work for people,
How did you get your first clients? Were they people that you knew, or did you just go knocking doors?
It was family and friends, and it was Craigslist.
Nice.
I put it out there on Craigslist.
Yeah.
And I was getting probably, 2 jobs a week. But I had a full-time job, so it wasn't like I was reliant on the income.
Right.
That I did that for 2 years, working for the DPW. And I got to the point where I started a website, a very rudimentary one. And I started using Facebook to my advantage as well. And I started to realize there really aren't any other seal coating companies in my general area. There's paving companies that do seal coating, but no one just like me, just the asphalt maintenance part of it.
Gotcha.
So I was able to start getting a lot of calls. By year 3, I was about halfway through the season, and I realized I was never going to be able to do the amount of work that I had lined up and do my full-time job.
Right.
but I wasn't really quite comfortable quitting my full-time
It's
job
a
with
big
healthcare
leap.
benefits. It's a huge leap.
Yeah.
So I did that. So I guess it was a side gig for about 3 years. And then the beginning of the 4th season, it was April, and I decided to get out of the DPW. Me and my wife had a long conversation. She said, you have work left over from last year. It's now or never. You want to do it your own business, do it now. Start the season off right, working for yourself. And that was in 2017.
Dude,
so that was the year that I did it.
You're still pulling the trailer, so something's going right.
Absolutely, man. And I'm getting bigger every year, and I'm still very interested in growing and providing more services, and also just providing better and better quality every year. So I'm totally focused, and I know it's a good thing because I haven't lost any interest in doing it. That's awesome. A sign, that this is something that I'm cut out for. So it's cool.
That's awesome. And did I see as well, did you take part-time jobs during the winter?
I did. This is the first winter that I'm not going to have a part-time job.
Yeah, that's
what I have right up until last winter. I delivered newspapers, early morning newspaper delivery.
Love that.
I was working for a delivery company, working at a liquor store in the evenings. It's pretty much whatever I could do to supplement that income that was kind of lost during the winter. I mean, obviously my profits are way down when I'm not working, but we were able to budget enough where, I could just have some part-time work. And then this year is the first year where we did well enough that I can just rely on my plowing and snow removal business for the winter, and we have everything else budgeted. So I have my wife to thank for that. We make a great team. She's the administrative side of it, and she does the budgeting and the financing. She's made the whole thing work. While I'm out in the field, she can kind of take care of that stuff.
I saw that and I was so excited because that's a big kind of coming of age moment, I guess, for the business.
It is. Yeah. It really is, and it was something I thought I was always going to have a part-time job working for someone else in the winter. And I was just so over it.
Yeah. Well, and it wasn't for lack of grinding either. Like if you're delivering newspapers and working an evening liquor store job, you obviously were willing to put in the work, but.
Absolutely. And, it'd be so hectic for 6 or 7 months out of the year running the business, and then to have to go to work part-time and answer to someone else. It was always just something I gotta find the way to get to the next level.
Yeah.
And it's just by persevering, just keeping on and figuring out how to provide better quality, better services, better marketing, and just the whole nine. You got to be you can't just be a good seal coater. You got to be a good business person to make it really, make it able so you can grow. And this year has been a lot of growth for me. So it's been good.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And I imagine now you're starting to have some repeat customers if you've been doing it for 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, we have some repeat customers. That's not something I ever rely on. I know that you try to get people on a schedule of calling you up, or you call them every 2 to 3 years and say, it's been a couple years since we've seen you. You're scheduled to have some maintenance done on your driveway or parking lot. That's always nice to think that those are just going to keep on rolling, but in all reality, it's 80% new business. You definitely do get a lot of people calling you back, but it's something where I feel like, especially with the seal coating and the crack sealing, the asphalt maintenance of residential driveways, it's still in people's heads that it's just something that they do every once in a great while.
Right.
And I do have a website, and I do try to put it out there that, this is preventative maintenance. So It is a scheduled thing. Just like, you go in and you get work done on your car.
You undercoat your car every year, right?
Yeah. And it's something that it's worth it to have it in their heads. It's not just something you do every 10 years.
Right.
So we do, we try to inform people that this is something that you want to have done, X number of years. And we also do callbacks and stuff. So
that's awesome. So, and I pretty sure I saw it's not you, and I mean, you've been chatting about it's not just you on the team now. How many guys or girls do you have on the team now?
Well, I've been working with my brother-in-law on this he's been with me for 5 years.
Nice.
And he's actually the one that created the Ginger Cat name.
Oh, cool.
He's my brother-in-law, so it's my wife's brother, and I've known him for about 8 or 9 years now. And he was calling me Ginger Cat back in the day when it was just like a side business.
Yeah.
Or even before really it was anything.
Yeah.
And when it came time to just kind of stop doing ads on Craigslist with no real business name.
Sure.
Had no idea what to call the business. And he's just
It's
like, oh, Ginger Cat
such a crucial
Sealcoating.
moment, right?
It is. It absolutely is. So he said Ginger Cat Sealcoating, and I just kind of like scoffed. I was like, that kind of sounds weird. I'm not sure if people are going to be into that. And he just kept saying, he was like, oh no, you got a business name yet? You got a business name yet? And Ginger Cat Sealcoating, Ginger Cat Sealcoating. And finally I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a website and that's what's going to be on it. And it has never changed.
I love it. I love it. Who did the logo for you? Because that's really cool as well.
The logo was something I had a mutual friend who does graphic design. Not a mutual friend, just a friend of mine. She does graphic design. And it was before I really had any network of people who were in business or, doing logo work or anything like that. So I just blindly went to her. I said, do you do business logos?
Yeah.
And she says, yeah, what's your business? And I said what it was, and she didn't even know what I was talking about. Yeah. But I said, I'd like it to be a cat. And the only thing I could think of was like Tony the Tiger.
Yeah.
From like the Wheaties box.
Yeah.
Or Frosted Flakes.
Exactly.
And I'm like, something like that, but obviously not Tony the Tiger, And she ended up coming up with a cool design. I got it on the back of this shirt.
Yeah, show us.
Yeah. It's really kind of cool, It's Ginger Cat and it's got the name.
No, it's sick. I love it.
Yeah. So that's kind of taken on a whole life of its own now. But it was originally just something that I had no idea what she was going to come up with. And she came back and gave me the design, and I didn't do anything with it for like 6 months. I just sat in one of my folders on my computer.
Yeah.
And finally I was like, you know what? This is like growing on me. Every time I look at it, this is like super cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's so much. And I mean, even if you did want to like rebrand down the road, you could just like tweak that design. Like it's got such a solid base.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's like, I'm very happy with it. And just like the name, it's grown on me over time, and to the point now where it's like I don't know what I would do if I didn't have it. It's pretty cool, So.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. And talk about your wrap too, because that is a stunning wrap.
The wrap on the truck was something that I belong to, a bunch of Facebook web pages with similar contractors, paving, sealing.
Yeah.
And I also belong to a power washing website too, or a group, a couple of them. And I never really thought about doing anything to the truck other than just putting the telephone number on it, and the name. I started seeing pictures of all these wraps.
Yeah, the pressure washing guys crush it with the wraps.
Oh man, they have some amazing artwork on their trucks, and it just is so eye-catching. And I figured, I was able to purchase a new to me truck last year, and it was in really good shape. And I was like, this thing's got to get wrapped. So it didn't happen right away, but I got enough set aside for it. And I had my cousin who runs a sign shop the next town over. He does, signage for, brick and mortar type shops. He does vehicle wraps. He does graphic art, like t-shirts and stuff. And I gave him the logo and I gave him all the information. And he took about 2 weeks, came back with a design for me. And then he did it, and it's been definitely, it's been a head turner. People have made remarks on it all the time, and I know that I've gotten business from it. So it's really kind of cool. I like it a lot.
You said you have gotten business from it.
I have gotten business from it. Absolutely. I'll be stopped at an intersection, and I'll see people taking pictures of the truck with the phone number on it and all the information. And I know for a fact that they're, at some point, sometime they'll probably give me a call or check the website out or whatever. However.
Yeah, no, I mean it's next level. You did a good job modeling it after those pressure wash guys, because some of them like they have like they're basically just art pieces walking down there.
They are, it's like I didn't even want to hook it up to a trailer at that point and do any work with it. I was like, I don't want to get a drop of dirt on this thing.
Yeah.
But those websites, just with like between the Facebook groups and there's a couple forums on the actual internet that I use.
Yeah.
That is just such a huge way to find new things, see things that you've never seen, do things, figure out a strategy of how you're going to tackle a job. With the whole internet now, I feel like that is such a useful tool to do research and to ask people and to network, maybe find a mentor.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know how before there was any internet, anyone was able to do as much research as they do now, because you can like
Right.
find out anything and you can ask people who are posting such high quality jobs, how did you do that? Like, what do you, what's your strategy for cleaning this or striping this or crack sealing that? And more often than not, people are so willing to share and they feel good sharing. And
Yeah.
it's really just such a useful tool. I can't stress it enough. Getting on there on Facebook or Instagram, and if you see a company putting out great work, contact them and say, I'm a contractor. I'm not trying to, I'm from probably a different part of the country, but like, I think your methods are so good. And, I've had people do that to me where they've contacted me, and I feel like it's an honor to answer these people's questions. It's really kind of cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The ability to make the industry level up, and I always say the rising tide lifts all boats, right? Like if you hold it,
Absolutely.
if you hold it close to your chest, then you're only hurting yourself, right?
You are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you on that.
Speaking of the Facebook group, I think that's how we connected. I don't remember which group it was, but I'm pretty sure it was through one of the paving
I
or
think
Sealcoating
so.
groups.
It was, absolutely was. Yep. We connected through there, and it's great because I like how those groups are open too to people that such as yourself that are providing a super good service like website design and marketing and SEO. And
Yeah,
that's been something that's changed my business for the positive, like 100 times over, is the web presence.
exactly.
And having people on there that are quality, website designers. It's a huge tool. And where else could you go to just have people that, you want to search website design in the search bar on your Facebook group, and you're going to pop up and it's like, oh, this is a quality person. It was so easy to find them. And it just makes life a lot easier of running a business and having all this information and services at your fingertips.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's an incredible tool just to make friends too. I mean, we're chatting for the first time in person, but we kind of feel like we know each other.
Yes, definitely.
Just by seeing everything come through the news feed.
Yep.
Speaking of marketing, you had mentioned a few minutes ago how big of a difference that made for you this year. Maybe talk about that, because I know there's other seal coaters and people in the paving world that listen to this podcast. Talk a bit about what you're doing and that's working in your area.
Well, what's working in my area is number one, I've designed my own website. I use a website service. I use GoDaddy.
Yeah.
But I find that it's a great tool, whether you have it designed for you or you can, design one that's an adequate website.
Absolutely.
Having that is as a home base for people to go and check out your services, descriptions of what you do. Pictures are huge.
Yeah.
That is, I think, mandatory these days for a service-based business.
Yeah.
Along with
especially with everything that's gone on in 2020, like people can't go out and necessarily see your truck driving around, right?
Exactly. It's huge, and people are relying more and more to check things out on their on their smartphone or they're at home on the internet. It's just been kind of the way that people research businesses nowadays. Exactly. So having that website is huge. Also, my number one form of paid marketing is Facebook ads. Doing some targeting, doing location targeting or age targeting, and keeping it local, but also documenting my work, taking pictures of jobs I've done. I look at them, I say, this looks like something that if I was just kind of flipping through my phone, it would catch my eye. So I always try to make sure that I take pictures of my work, weed out the ones that I think are really quality pictures, of visually enticing, and do a boosted Facebook post or a Facebook ad. I've had some really good returns with that. That's the number one for sure.
I love that. And I will say too, because I have your page pulled up here, because I was just kind of quickly refreshing my mind before we hopped on.
Yep.
You're very consistent in posting. You're posting your truck jobs that you do, and a lot of it wasn't necessarily, oh, like, call us right now. It's like, this is a service we're offering.
Yes.
And some of it, there was some educational content as well, which is so key, because a lot of people that I work with or that I see asking questions are like, well, Facebook doesn't work for me. It's like, well, you post once a year,
once a year
of the season, being like, hey, I'm over here, I've got, like, please buy my services.
Yeah.
But you haven't nurtured people all the way through the year, educated them, offered them some value up front.
Yep.
And so to expect them to come to you when they need help is kind of it's a bit off base, I think.
It is. You really got to make sure, you got to put yourself out there, and I know businesses that will post once a day. That's better than once a year. I feel like there's a line between posting too much and having it hit right.
I think consistency is what I've seen. Personally, if you can't post once a day, don't post once a day for a week and then stop for a month, right?
Very good point. Very good point. Yeah, because then people are just kind of thrown off by your presence and they don't really know. I try to get 3-4 times a month. I try to make it so that I'm just in people's heads. I also boost my posts probably once a month too, and that kind of gets it a little bit further out there.
So talk a bit about that, because a lot of people they're like, oh, Facebook, like spending money on Facebook ads is junk. I obviously see that a bit differently because I'm working with people to help them get jobs through Facebook. But talk a bit about your experience and how that's gone, as far as, like, are you doing it once a year, like I was just talking about, like let's spend money, and or are you consistently doing it every month or so, like you're saying?
Well, I find that it helps. I spend some money on marketing probably once a month.
Yep.
It's anywhere from $100 to $300.
Yep.
Usually like right around $100-$150.
Yep.
I'll do it once a month. I've been relying strictly on Facebook and boosting posts right now. I find it's really working for me. I'm not going to stop it until I find that it's no longer worth it.
Right.
But I have tried all sorts of things. I was doing Google ads for about a year. Mixed results. I don't feel like that is, you don't get as much bang for your buck unless you're really, really good at it. It's also more of a confusing program.
It is a bit more in depth. Yeah.
It is more in depth.
Yeah.
I've done newspaper ads. I've, in my area, I've done some radio work. I feel like the radio work, there's a couple of radio stations in my local area that I know everyone listens to. They're on everyone's background, or like they're playing in a shop somewhere in the background. I've had good luck with that. So I like to experiment, and I like to move my advertising money around and try different things.
Nice.
I'm not going to just go with one thing and say this is the only way for me.
Right.
Currently, the Facebook is definitely the way it's working.
It's the most trackable too, probably.
It's very trackable. Yes.
Yeah.
So, I just like to try to do once a month, more at the beginning of the season. If it's the springtime and I really want to try to, say I'm booked a week out or 2 weeks out and I want to make it into a month, I'll allocate more money for the month of April and May. Usually in the middle of summer, I'm filled up, I don't see an end in sight.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the year, I'll do a little bit more than just once a month, a couple times a month. And anytime that I offer a new service, like I've recently added power washing and asphalt patching to the business services, I will go and I'll spend some money making sure that those services are marketed as well.
So in the middle of the summer, do you just stop running ads altogether, or are you still doing that boosted post every month?
I'll do a boosted post, but I might not spend, $150 or $200 on it. I might run it. I might just do a quick one that lasts a couple of days.
I love that.
So I kind of go with how busy I am. If I'm super duper busy, and like I said, no end in sight, then my marketing, I'll save a little bit of money and use it for when I need it, when it's starting to thin out or at the beginning of the season. Fortunately, right now, we're not really thinning out while the season is going. Yeah. It's pretty much May until October for seal coating. But now that I'm doing asphalt patching, end of November.
Just extended your whole season there.
Extended the whole season.
Yeah.
But I have the bulk of my marketing recently has been for the patching, asphalt work.
Yeah.
Because it's a new service, and I feel like this is the time of year where my other services have wound down, and I'm relying on this. So I really want to maximize what I can do with that service for the remainder of the year.
Sure. And I mean, that takes you right back to your roots of paving, basically.
Absolutely. And it's like, I look at all the jobs I've had since pretty much the mid 2000s. And, I've worked for the DPW, I've worked for the paving company, and all the things I've learned in those jobs have helped me out running my own business in such numerous ways And while I was in those other jobs, I never would have thought I'd be using this to run my own business. But looking back, I've learned some things that I use all the time now, and they've helped me make money on my own. And I'm very, very thankful for those past jobs.
I love that. I love that. So yeah, I did actually want to touch on the patching there because I saw that you had just added that as a service. Were you doing that before and just not advertising it, or what kind of made you make that move?
Well, this was the year that like I had mentioned earlier, I did not want to have to go get any part-time job in the winter. I wanted to make as much money during my season as I could possibly make. And I knew the only way to do that was to either do more work, which was really not physically possible. I was out there 7 days a week doing work. Yeah. We had a really great weather season. So there was only maybe 4 or 5 rain days throughout the whole entire year.
That's hard on the body.
It is, but you know what? I'm young enough where I'm foolish enough where I'm attempting it now and seeing what I can do. But I wanted to just make more money, so I ended up doing power washing, not of houses, but just of driveways. Extra dirty driveways. It's an additional charge, and it's something that I was planning on doing mostly on rain days, where a seal coater is kind of either just doing maintenance at the shop or not working. Right. I wanted to go make some money on those rain days. So we started the power washing, and that started doing really well this year, even though we didn't have a lot of rain days, but we were able to generate some different revenue providing a different service.
Sure.
So that's important for future growth. And then the asphalt patching, I ended up getting a smaller dump truck this year as a secondary business vehicle. And I had been turning down requests to come do asphalt patching for the past 3-4 years. And I figured with this dump truck, I'm going to make it a main goal of mine by the end of this current year to outfit myself enough to be able to go and cut out old asphalt, replace it, and give people a brand new surface that I wouldn't be able to repair just doing, crack sealing or seal coating.
So now you've also made yourself more of the go-to solution for issues.
Absolutely.
If your seal coating in the driveway needs some touch-up work.
Yeah.
You're obviously doing hot mix asphalt?
Hot mix, yeah. I'm pretty much just trying to make it so that I cover all the niches. I'm not gonna go pave your driveway.
Right.
And it's like these are niche things that people sometimes don't think about, but then when they look into driveway repair, my website pops up, and it's got all these services that, this is what I need. This is what I need. And having it be really, I'm one of the only guys in a 20-mile radius, 30-mile radius that does this, that offers all of these services, but isn't going to try to sell you on a $10,000 new driveway.
Right.
I'm more of a budget-friendly niche business that is very appealing because if someone's on a budget, they only want to spend $1,000, but they want to improve the look of their driveway, waterproof it, and just make it, more solid for the next few years. I'm the guy, rather than being like, I call the paving company and they want to rip out the whole thing. It's going to cost me $10,000.
Right.
I'd rather just do the preventative maintenance and maybe a small patch where there's a big pothole. So I'm just trying to make it so that I'm saving people money, but the services I provide are ones that when they realize that I do them, they're like, that's exactly what I need.
Yeah, kind of everything. And do you ever pressure wash before you hit up a driveway for seal coating? Because I know there's a
absolutely.
Yeah,
yep.
Gotcha.
Well, there was 2 driveways in my memory now that I had to redo this year. They're from last year, and we spent so much time cleaning these 2 driveways. But
last year or this year? Like which?
It was last year that we did the work, and we prepped. And in my head, I was like, I don't know if we prepped enough. It was off of gravel roads, so like there was caked on dirt, a lot of tree coverage. So we did the jobs, and I got a call in the spring saying that the job was compromised. The sealer didn't adhere properly. And I'm thinking to myself, if I had a power washer, we could have got that thing so clean and it would not have been an issue.
Yeah.
And it was at that moment I was like, I am already on these power washing Facebook groups. I know what needs to be built in order to do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it this year. And I started thinking more and more about it. I was like, this is perfect because we could do this on rainy days because we don't normally work on rainy days.
Yeah, you could go in and clean it and then come back the next week when it's dry.
Yeah. So that's the strategy. We clean it, we try to get back within a week to, because we're taking off years and years of dirt or chemicals, that are stained.
Yeah.
Something that you can't get rid of with just your conventional broom or power broom or backpack blower.
Yeah.
So we get back, and it makes the job easier to do as well, because the power washer, it's what surface cleaner, just goes over the surface.
Yeah, they're
like
so
a big
cool.
Fucker.
Yeah.
And it makes the labor, down, because it's not so labor intensive to go out there and scrub and scrub and scrub. So it's been a good service, and it's made some of our jobs a lot easier and more pleasant to actually go do.
That's really cool. That's awesome. Yeah. So what's in store for next year? Obviously you're continuing on with the patching here, but Absolutely. Now you've got these 2 new services, I guess, this year, and you can, crush next year. What are your goals?
Well, my goal for next year is to just, make more money.
I love it.
To make more money. It's to make more money, but how I'm going to do that is me and my wife have already budgeted 2 weeks of payroll for the 1 employee we have now to start the season. We've also budgeted 2 weeks of payroll for a 3rd employee.
Nice.
So we will be hiring 1 more person next year. And the plan to do that is to have 2 guys on a crew doing the crack sealing and the seal coating. And then one of us, probably most likely me, as we get going with this, but have a trailer out there prepping.
Nice.
A couple days before. So that we'll be prepping jobs, and then a day or 2 later, we're going to come through and seal it and crack seal it. And having the prep work done already is going to make jobs a lot easier to do. We can do more in a day. So having that extra body out there, we're just going to be able to do more driveways, because I'm primarily a residential driveway business right now.
Yeah.
Probably at 75% residential, is 25% commercial.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like that ratio. I know a lot of guys try to really get big and do huge Walmart parking lots.
Yeah.
I get that, but we're having a lot of luck doing what we do now. So the goal is to hire another person, get out there, get another trailer going. We have the 2 trucks now, so we can prep ahead of time and get a lot more work pumped out. My goal for the patching is to pretty much dedicate certain blocks of time for patching, So
you can just hit up a week or something.
Exactly. Early spring, get as much patching done. That's where the marketing's going to come in, because we're going to say, this is the time to do it. Hit us up now. And once pretty much the end of May rolls through, I get inundated with seal coating work.
Weather's getting much nicer, and
the weather's nicer. People are just out there getting it done. Because with the sealing, the window of opportunity for seal coating is rather small.
Yeah.
Between if you get a rain day or you get a cold snap, or the winter hangs on for longer or comes earlier, the amount of work you can do is really cut down. With that patching, I can do that. The window is a lot larger, for hot mix asphalt work.
Yeah.
So we're just going to try to block that, maybe focus, 1 week out of the month, or, a few days out of the month for patching, and hit it up heavier in beginning and the end of the season.
That's awesome. Cool. Are you, so I guess, like you just explained, having another team, but then you're going to be off doing prepping. So where does that leave estimates and quoting? Like, you just do that?
Estimates, the days are long. Estimates can happen after we get done with jobs. I'm out there Saturdays and Sundays. Those are great days to do estimates.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of estimating when it's raining out, because I don't feel like you get a really good idea of what's there.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much just whenever I can get a minute. I do have my brother-in-law who's been with me for 5 years. He's very capable of doing estimates, so it's not just me.
Nice.
I fully trust him with taking good measurements. He takes pictures. So we both do the estimating, so it gets split up between 2 people.
Oh, that's good.
I also recently this year invested in a customer management program.
A CRM. Yeah.
Yeah, CRM. So
yeah.
that has helped our estimating and quote sending big time.
Which one are you using?
I'm using Jobber right now.
Nice.
So I find it's a great program. It's very, very intuitive, very easy to learn. Tons of great options. I'm not at the top price point of it, because you can get rather expensive. I'm right in the middle of what they offer, because that that price point worked for us for this year.
Nice.
But I find that has a ton of options to help us, send out quotes, track them, send out invoicing, track that, job payment, even estimating, because there's a whole section where you can take notes and just do everything right from the app.
And you can send out follow-up emails as well, right? Like with
follow-up emails, and everything's customized to your business too. So it's, whatever you want to say on the quote, you can say, you can put your logo there. Estimate routing. So, if I'm going to go out and do 20 estimates on a Saturday, I don't want to be going like this,
Right.
So you can route the whole thing and just have it go, and you're not backtracking or anything like that. So that's been, as far as business efficiency, that's one that's really streamlined us quite a bit this year.
That's awesome. Yeah, I see a few people start to kind of make the move over to those, and I know Jobber has served a lot of people well. So
yeah,
that's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always just trying to I'm never one to settle,
Yeah.
It's like I got something going good, and 2 or 3 months later, I'm like, I can make that better. I know whether it's the administrative side or the just doing the jobs or the, equipment, I'm always on the lookout for something that will make my life easier. No one ever said running a business is easy, but the easier you can make it, the more satisfying I think it's going to be. And you're not going to lose that passion. If you're
awesome,
trying to go flip through 10 notebooks and try to find that person's phone number that you could have swore you put here, you're going to lose that job, but if everything's streamlined and where you need it to be and everything's working properly, it just makes it so it's a pleasure to be doing the business.
Man, that's awesome. That's a great note to end on as well. Cause I know I want to honor your time here. But having something that takes it out of your head, because some people are really good at remembering numbers. I mean, my dad doesn't have any numbers saved in his phone, but
I'm jealous of that.
Yeah, no, like that's crazy. I think I have 2 or 3 phone numbers memorized at this point.
Right.
But being able to get it out of your head and being able to focus on other things that matter in business and have this software like completely just automate, to whatever extent you want, the process makes it so much easier. So I think that's a strong point to end on. And this has been incredible, Ryan. I do always ask people, right before we hop off, if you could, looking back over the course of your business career, I guess, as a business owner, what would be like 1 or 2 things you would say to people who are starting a business? Because it's not easy all the time.
I would say do not hold back because you're afraid something's not going to work. Or if something scares you, like hiring an employee or getting a hold of an accountant or figuring out that you need to upgrade your web presence, or if any of these things seem overwhelming, just do them, just dip your toe in, just get it done. And then all of a sudden you're going to realize the water's warm. I'm diving in.
I love it.
So it's just don't hold back, and don't think that you can just get it done tomorrow or, the next day. Act appropriately, act when you feel like an idea comes to you. Don't hold back. And I feel like if you can do that, and just kind of sidestep the fear of learning something new or, doing something, a little bit more streamlined. If it seems like it's going to be a lot of work, well, not doing it is going to cause you way more work in the future. And that's something I wish I had learned, 5 or 6 years ago, where it's like, oh, I can just do it this way, and I'll always be able to do it that way. But learning new things has been scary, but so rewarding. And I'm very thankful to just kind of be, diving into this, and whatever else I do now, I just kind of give it my best shot. If it doesn't work, figure out something else.
Dude, that's huge. That's so good. One of my favorite mottos, I guess, is imperfect action beats perfect inaction. Like if I have an idea, yes. If I don't execute on it now, it'll never happen. Yep. But also you kind of touched on that, but also the point of, if you can improve it, do, because it'll be a year from now, you won't have improved it and you will have wasted so much time.
Absolutely. I agree with you, man. I love some of your quotes. They're very, very, I wish I was like able to just think of quotes like that, but
I just hear them all the time being drilled into my head by my coaches and mentors. Man, Ryan, this has been really really enjoyable. Thank you for your time. Thanks for hopping on, taking time out as you finish up your busy season. And I know that people will enjoy this. Where can people connect with you and connect with what you've got going on?
Well, you can always look me up on Facebook, Ryan Behan, RyanBehan. You can friend me if you want to talk about business or whatever else it is, music, drums.
Yeah,
I'm always on a lot of the Facebook pages for Sealcoating, some power washing ones too. And if you ever want to directly get a hold of me, you can go on my website. You can email my business. If it's a personal message, you can just do it through there, and I'll get back to you,
beautiful.
gingercatsealcoating.com. You can just send an email, and I'm definitely open to talk with anyone about business or music or just life and staying positive through the craziness of life.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Cool. Well, this has been I've really enjoyed this, and I know that other people will find some nuggets. And if you guys are curious about some off the wall ideas, I think Ryan's got some that he's implementing from, even other industries like the pressure washing industry, which I think is really cool. So yeah, guys, follow Ryan, follow what he's doing, follow the Ginger Cat himself, and if you haven't left a review on the podcast, do that and share it out. So we'll wrap up here, Ryan. I appreciate it once again, but we'll wrap up off air and then we'll carry on.
Well, thank you very much, Lewis. I appreciate it. And everyone, just check out Blue Crocus Solutions, the podcast. Excellent service. And Lewis, I always enjoy seeing your posts and seeing some of the knowledge that you have to share with people. And your motivation is definitely catchy. It's very, it's contagious. And I think that we need more people like you to provide that.
Amazing. Well, I've got one on the podcast right here, so I think we're off to a good start. Good stuff, man. Well, let's I'll just pause the recording here and we'll wrap up.